facing some of these challenges. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of you for tuning in. We are really happy that we can share this moment. I think this Women's Corner, we are hoping that it can really be a corner where we can talk about things freely, share ideas, just support each other and be able to cope. There's a lot to contend with in our daily lives, daily hustles. There's a lot to contend with. So really our health encompasses the whole picture, from sleep, emotional well-being, food. So the health and wellness is quite a lot. So tonight I'm happy to introduce to the ladies who thought about this program. Myself, Sister Laureen, and Sister Alice. So we are behind, the theme of saying Women's Corner. It's a corner for women where we can talk about issues. So today, definitely, we're going to be talking about sleep issues. And we are so thankful because this is a topic which Sister Lauren requested. And that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea, so that we can be really looking at practical things, how we can encourage each other and find a place for comfort and encouragement. So we are saying, yes, this is the Women's Corner, definitely, definitely. So I will just introduce to us, what are we really saying about our health and where does sleep come in? Now, when we look at the bigger picture, the bigger picture is all about what is just our daily habits of lifestyle. What are they, kind of? So we always want to encourage ourselves to go back to a lifestyle which is going to encourage us to find simple things which we have around us to help us as much as possible, so that we are not having bombarded with many things to think, oh, how can I cope with this? So it's about understanding there are simple things which can help us. And usually it comes in the acronym New Start. Now, New Start is just a word to say there's nutrition, there's exercise, there's sunshine, there's fresh air, there's water, there is exercise, I've already talked about it, there is trust in God, and there is also things about rest. So tonight our sleep is going to be linked with the major topic which looks about rest, where we have to rest our body. So sleep is part of that, where we have to really say, what can we do? Now, before I talk what I want to talk, was this is our Women's Corner, and feel free to talk, to contribute. What causes us to have issues with sleep? What causes us to have issues with sleep?
I think, is that a question?
It's a question. From anybody's point of view, what can affect sleep generally?
I think one of the key reasons for poor sleep is stress.
Okay.
Being anxiety, stress.
Okay. Very true. Yeah. And any other points anybody can think of? Feel free to contribute. I usually know I used to do shift work. So for me, it was shift work. My sleep was all over the place with shift pattern or shift work. So that was a really something which I could say it was affecting me. I remember having the little baby, coming home so that I could take over. I stay with the little baby. The baby is just wide awake. It's time for playing. And I'm thinking I need to sleep. And I only have to try and make the baby sleep so that I sleep. That was really hard. And then when nighttime comes, I'm tired. I'm just exhausted. I'm having a headache. But I can't stay home. I just need a few pounds. I need a few pounds. So shift work can be one of the reasons. Anyone else? Any other ideas? Anybody?
So diet can also be a contributing factor, and especially things like caffeine.
Okay.
Caffeine from coffee or even tea.
Okay.
And drinking chocolate as well.
Okay.
Those contain caffeine, and that can affect cause disruption in sleep as well.
That's true. Welcome, Tsitsi. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Welcome again to our session. So we are talking about sleep issues today. So you've said it right there. We've got stress. Stress is the number one.
Mm.
Now, other things which we can have, which I found when I was making a research, is obviously it says 1 cup of coffee or tea can affect sleep for 48 hours.
Wow.
Whoa. So yeah, you've said it right. So caffeine sometimes, not sometimes, yeah, it does affect. Now, I've got a lot of people in my workplace who say, I drink because I just want to make myself sleep. Alcohol intake is one of the
Mm.
reasons why people struggle to sleep. So research actually shows that when you drink alcohol, you feel you're gonna say yeah because you're gonna be drunk, but the last hours of the night are crucial, and that's where alcohol plays or interferes with proper sleep. And then you're gonna wake up
Mm.
tired. That's why people wake up with a hangover, a bit of a headachy. You don't really get to sleep. And also some suggestions were about the blue light from our gadgets. We've got our
Mhm.
gadgets. No, I like my phone. So before bed, when you wake up, that's the first thing, isn't it? Eesh, what a generation.
Mm.
We are on our phones, so they say the blue light usually affects our sleep. So before you go to bed, make sure if you're going to be on your gadget, make sure you turn it on to. I want to go to solutions now. Actually, I'm just going to say the blue light, which causes it affects sleep. And there is also some reasons, like the things we eat. Now, if we eat before bed, especially acid forming foods, foods which are going to cause indigestion, very
Mhm.
uh, high processed foods, we're talking of high fried foods, high starchy foods, which are really quite heavy for the body, and we eat it before bed, we're really just going to have, that's one of the things which can affect our sleep. So those are some of the reasons. Now, there are other reasons which already you've talked about, Sister Lauren. Stress and anxiety, depression, that's a common one. I don't think
Mhm.
all of us we're affected by that. At one point, you just have a sleepless night where you're just going to toss and turn until you toss again. So that's a common one. Sometimes it's noise. I remember when you're trying to sleep and the neighbor is daytime, they're fixing, you just hear the hammering and the chiseling, or you just think, I'm from night shift, I need to sleep, but you cannot sleep
Mhm.
because of the
Yeah.
noise. So
Mhm.
sometimes the room is too hot or it's too cold, so you want to sleep.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's the bed, which is uncomfortable. You want
Yeah.
to sleep. I've talked about alcohol, caffeine. I've talked about nicotine as well. Nicotine, from smoking. And it could be secondhand smoking. So it's not just one of the, just me maybe standing to somebody smoking. You can take it, from secondhand. Recreational drugs, cocaine, ecstasy, all those things, they also affect the sleep pattern, because what you're doing is affecting the normal functioning of the body, and then it's being put into this work mode, is always probably hyperactive. The drugs just do all sorts of things in the body that really disrupts the normal functioning of the body. And after sometimes after traveling, going on a flight, you're gonna go on different time zones. You come here, it's
Mhm.
2 hours behind, or maybe go to another country, 6 hours ahead. Especially when going to America, I think it's hours behind. Because when you go back, it's time for you to sleep here, but there is still daytime.
Mhm.
So such things can affect sleep. And shift work. I think shift work is one of the stress and shift work. I'm gonna think that's one of the common one here in England.
Mhm.
I want to think that way. And there are also, I think this one also contributes, when you've got ill health, some conditions, medical conditions, they can affect our sleep. You are in pain. There's nothing so uncomfortable like being in pain. You're
Mhm.
always in pain. You cannot sleep. Some of the health conditions, they are very difficult to manage and to handle. And so you have to be, emotionally, affected by that. Now, some medications as well, if you're on medications, especially because of other underlying health conditions, you will be having insomnia because of the medication. So it's sort of the contraindications or the side effects of medication which can cause that. And we also have other conditions, which I've already talked: hyperactive thyroid, menopause, long-term pain, snoring, sometimes the interrupted breathing while sleeping, that can be an issue. Suddenly falling asleep anywhere, that's another condition called narcolepsy, where you can't control your body. You just, wherever you sit, you sleep. So that can just be another thing which can affect. And another thing is nightmares, night terrors. You just can't sleep. Some people actually struggle with sleepwalking, where they wake up at night. They don't know that they're walking, but they are walking around the room because of sleepwalking. So there's nightmares. So these are some of the causes, but it's not to say this is just exhaustive list. These are sort of the main common ones. There are actually, a lot more than this, depending on people's conditions. Not because of you having young babies, you can have sleepless nights. Having a little baby soon after giving birth, that can be another reason there. So there are different reasons, or maybe you've got a family member who's unwell, who needs constant care. So you're taking caring roles, where you have to look after somebody overnight. They wake up, they need your help, and you cannot share that responsibility with anyone. It's just on the burden of the main family members. So that can affect sleep as well. So those are some of the reasons we can come across. So things like solution. What can we do about the solution? That's where the question comes in. What can we do about all this? Because there's quite a lot, isn't it? Now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to ask Sister Lauren to come in and take us through some of the ideas and some solutions. What can we do? What can we do to make our lives a bit better?
Thank you so much, Mrs. Wanda. Do I have the host back? Oh, you've muted. We can't hear you now.
Yes, I've given you the host.
All right, excellent. So I'm going to try and share screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, can do.
Let me see, what do I want to do? Right, give me a second. When I'm trying to do some of these things, sometimes I pretend I don't know what I need to do, but I do know. Right, copies window. Sorry, 1 second. Right, I'm looking for this. I have found it. There we go. Sleep issues. So we are talking about solutions. What do we do when we are faced with this kind of thing that we cannot sleep? We just can't. We're just going to try and go through some of the things. It's not everything, but at least it's some things that will at least be helpful to you as you go on your journey. If you look at your bedroom right this minute, is it tidy? Is it visually pleasing? Like if you look at it, the way God made us so that we can appreciate beauty. We can appreciate good things that are tidy and neat in order. If we walk into anybody's house that is neat and tidy, we would love it. We'll be like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? So when you keep your bedroom in an untidy fashion, like what we're seeing here, even if you're busy, but that has an effect on how you are going to sleep that night. And also, Mrs. Wanda talked about the temperature of your bedroom. Is it hot? Is it too hot or is it too cold? That will have an effect on the body. Like, if you notice with little babies, they can't sleep when they're too hot. They would fast, toss, turn fast. They just can't. Adults, we are the same way. We need to make sure that our environment is not too hot and it's not too cold. Deal with it. You can open the window if it's too hot, or try to put in measures that will help you to regulate the temperature of the room. So we've talked about it being tidy. You need to check your mattress. After about 8 years, we're told your mattress will be way far gone. So if your mattress is older than 8 years, really, you need to have done something about the poor mattress. So I can see Mrs. Wanda is laughing. So I don't know how old her mattress is, but she might need to check it. So check the mattress, see that it's in good condition, that you've not overused it. Because you might not notice it while you're trying to sleep, but it might have an effect on your back, actually, the alignment of your back. So make it a point that it's the most comfortable for you, for your particular body. Some have back issues, some don't. So you will need to see which mattress suits you best. And also make sure you change the bedding very regularly. You've got, I don't know if you put bed sheets, some just go under the duvet without bed sheets. If you have bed sheets, change them, change the duvet regularly, change if you've got a valance that you put under, fitted sheet, flat sheet, whatever you have going on that bed, it needs to be changed on a very regular basis. Because if you do not change it while you're not aware, your body will be aware that something is not right here, and you don't want things like bed bugs and whatever other tiny little creatures that you can't see, which will be crawling about on there, and that would cause you to have issues when you're trying to sleep. So please check the bedroom, make sure that it is in the best condition that it can be for you to sleep. Now let's have a look at essential oils. Lavender is extremely good for sleep. It's very, very good. It's powerful. When I couldn't sleep, I would use lavender. Now you can use lavender, or you, in case of your sleep, if it's anxiety in particular, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, frankincense would be the best one, because it would calm down the anxiety and the panic attacks, and then it would then induce this calmness that will allow you to get some sleep. Peppermint, you can look at it and say, oh, peppermint, isn't it supposed to keep you awake? So what peppermint does is, if it's morning time and you're supposed to be awake, it will clear your mind and cause you to be very, very alert. But when it's nighttime, peppermint can also cause you to sleep. So how you can use these essential oils, you can put them in your hot bath. You sit in there and just put a few drops. Don't put too many, because peppermint, if it comes in contact with the skin, it will burn. Frankincense is even worse than peppermint. So just put just a few drops so that you can be able to breathe in and inhale that aroma that will be coming out from there, the scent rather. So you can use a diffuser. Now a diffuser is just a small little gadget. It's a shame I meant to bring mine to the table with me. It's just a small, if you go on Amazon and you type in diffuser, essential oil diffuser, you'll be able to see it. You can plug it in, you put a few drops in there with water, you close it, switch it on. It will diffuse the essential oil in your bedroom while you're sleeping. So you'll be able to smell the essential oil. And also, you don't have to wake up to switch it off. It switches itself off when it's finished its cycle. So you can just go to just relax yourself and let the diffuser do its bit, depending on what you want to use. But there are more essential oils that you can use than this. So this is just to start you off so you can see what the possibilities are. You can put on your pillow lavender. I remember one of my kids, when they couldn't sleep, I put lavender on their pillow. That is really quite powerful for that. But it depends on what will work for you, so you can just try. So steaming also works with essential oils. You put some water in a bucket, put some hot water in a bucket or a dish, and then put a few drops. Don't put too many drops. 1, 2 would be good at a time. More than that will overwhelm the system. So 1, 2 drops in there, and cover yourself over with a blanket, and then just breathe in. So that would do for steaming. That's essential oils. You can try those. Now, regarding food is a very big topic. So I could not go into all the different foods because we don't have time to deal with that. But please let us know. If you want more information on any of these things, we'll be able to supply. You just talk to the person who invited you over, and we'll supply the information you need. But as Mrs. Vanda was talking about caffeinated tea, and Lauren was also talking about that, teas, coffees that have caffeine, by all means, stay away from those, because you will not be able to sleep. You need to eat nutritionally sound meals. One of the problems that comes with not being able to sleep has to do with, eating food that keeps you deficient nutritionally. So you need to try and make sure that whatever it is you're eating is nutritionally sound. Plant-based is always the very best. And make sure that as you're eating plant-based, you're incorporating all the colors. Have a rainbow that you're constantly eating so that you can get a bit of this and a bit of that from all your foods. Eat less at night. and only about 4 hours before bed. Why 4 hours? Because you want to make sure that the food is well and truly digested and out of the stomach before you lie down. Why? Because your food, when it's being digested, it needs gravity. So that's why you have to be upright. You have to be sitting upright. You have to be standing upright. Gravity has to do its work in the digestion process. Now, when you lie down this way, now there's a problem for you. You're not going to get the help, the assistance that you need. And what will happen to a lot of your food is that it's going to start to ferment. And as it ferments in there, it will start up trouble. That's why you wake up, you get a puffed up tummy. People wonder why they're getting a tummy and it's getting bigger. It's these big meals before bed. Then the body is very busy trying to digest all that. And when your body is busy, your mind has to be engaged when you're digesting, and your whole body is engaged when you're digesting. So you can't rest, you can't sleep because of the issue of trying to digest a big meal before bed. So eat less at night and about 4 hours before bed. That would help. I've already talked about not going to bed on a full stomach. And avoid drinking before bed, whatever the drink is, because when you drink, then the kidneys feel they have to do the filtering, and now you created urine, you have to go to the toilet. So when you're in deep sleep and you're woken up to go to the toilet, to try and come back to find sleep again, for some people, it's not as easy. It's really actually quite difficult. So it would be best not to drink too much before bed to avoid bathroom trips that would keep you awake. Things to note: if you're having a serious trouble with not being able to sleep, it would be good taking a nap during the day. But make sure that nap is not very long. It should be a very short, like a power nap. People talk about power naps a lot, like a power nap, a short one, just so that you can recharge batteries, because you need to do that. If you keep yourself just going, and you're not able to sleep as well at night, it becomes very complicated for your brain to actually charge electricity properly. And you will have messages not being sent as well as they should. Then you have indigestion and fevers and all other things. So when you're sleepy in the evening, go to bed. Not too early, of course, but when you are sleepy, go to bed. You don't have 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, you're still forcing yourself to stay awake. The more you force the body to stay awake, the more your body will learn. Because remember, the body learns by being educated on how to do things. It doesn't know how to do things by itself. So the mind educates the body on what to do. So if the mind is forcing the body to stay awake, the body will learn that I'm supposed to be awake. And it will keep you awake, even at the time when you now want to go to sleep. So when you feel sleepy, go to bed and sleep. We need to keep balance in everything that we do. So in order for you to sleep well, it starts with your routine well early in the morning. Keep regular eating, sleeping, and waking hours, even on weekends. Some people say, all right, I'm good because I go to work, so I have to wake up at the same time. And then when I come back from work, I'm going to bed. But over the weekend, I just need to just have a lie in. So when you do that, the body is disturbed. Like I was saying, that the body works by education. What you educate it to do, that's what it will end up doing. So when you keep disturbing its routine, it will end up being so disturbed that it does not know how to keep you going properly. So try and keep regular hours of eating, of sleeping, and waking up. So there is a method that is used in the army when they need to sleep. So in the army, they get called at any given time to go and do whatever mission it is that they have to do. So that means their sleep is always disturbed. So they now need to try to put themselves to sleep by telling themselves that they must sleep. That's how they would need to do it, especially if they're in battle and they have to sleep sitting up, or they are in an awkward place. They use the mind technique that tells the body what to do. So this is how it's done. You would lie back if you're not in war. So if you're on your bed, on your bedroom, you would lie back and be so flat and straight. And then what you would do is you would deliberately cause yourself to relax such that you are almost dipping into the mattress. That's how relaxed you deliberately cause yourself to be. Then you start. My toes are relaxed. My feet are relaxed. My legs are relaxed. And as you go to different parts of your body coming up, until you get your shoulders. My shoulders are relaxed. So if they were relaxed a little less, you relax them even a little bit more than what they were before when your face lay down. You do that with all the parts. You mention all the parts of your body to yourself. I'm relaxing all these parts of my body. Then you get your mind and you say as well, my mind is relaxed. So this is not a funny doing, but what all it is that your body is regulated by your mind. So what your mind chooses to think about has a direct effect on your body. So tell yourself, I'm going to relax in all these different parts, and then lay there and keep that relaxation. So you might be able to sleep that way. Others use that and it works for them, but that's another thing. Now, on supplements, it's been found that calcium levels, when they are low, you will have problems sleeping. Iron levels, when they are low, you will have problems sleeping. Magnesium levels, when they are low, you will have trouble sleeping. So it's worth checking these levels to see where you are at with them. Now, with magnesium is very, very good as a muscle relaxant. And I'm going to have something on hydrotherapy coming a bit later on so that you can see one of the ways you can use magnesium to just relax yourself and make sure that you get as much relaxation as possible, enough to put you to sleep. So check your iron, check your calcium, make sure that they are good so that you may be able to have a chance in getting some sleep. So I've written Calm here, and I didn't get a chance this evening to put this product as a picture on there. There's a product called Magnesium Calm. Now that is a supplement which you can take on a daily basis. What Magnesium Calm does, if you take a teaspoon, so you're normally supposed to take 2 teaspoons, but you start with 1 teaspoon, so just you see how it works with you, if it gets along with you or not. If you take that, you will feel the relaxation immediately. So you drink it. When you've drank it, you mix it with water. When you've drank it, you will feel it immediately that I am relaxed. There's a level of relaxation. So I've used that a few times. It definitely causes you to relax. So if you want that product and you want to know where to get it, actually, if you just go on Amazon and you type in Magnesium Calm, you'll be able to get that product come up. And then you can choose whether you want a flavored one or you just want a plain one. That's one other thing that you can use if you're having trouble. Right, exercise. Exercise is very important because by its nature, it also relaxes the muscles. It causes a certain level of balance to take place within the body so that you are more relaxed, your muscles are more relaxed, your hormones are all balanced up, because sometimes there are hormones that would cause you not to sleep, which will be circulating in the body. But when you exercise, it balances hormones so that you have a greater chance of being able to sleep. Now, the best way to sort out the exercise would be for you to exercise until you sweat. Then you go and sit in a hot bath in there. So while you're in your hot bath, that's when we are saying you can drop in your lavender, you can drop in your frankincense in there, you can drop in your peppermint, and you can drop in your Epsom salts. You just sit there and relax yourself for about 20 minutes and you are done. So try and do that 1 to 2 hours before bed. If you do the vigorous exercise too close to bed, you'll stimulate yourself, you'll be wide awake, and then you'll fail to sleep again. So you can do the hot bath. Another way is to take a slow walk in fresh air. Yeah, another way of exercising would be to take a slow walk in fresh air before bed. So enjoy the walk, think of good things. So this is not like a brisk walk. This is like a slow walk of just appreciating. Either you're looking at the stars, you're looking what God has created, and you're thinking of wonderful thoughts. But as you are breathing in that fresh air, it's very important because fresh air by its nature, it calms the nerves. So you need that. Sometimes we sit inside the house too much. We're like, oh, it's cold, it's cold. We don't go outside. We are always inside. Now, inside, the air is not as pure as it is outside. No, the kind of air that you need is not you breathing in while you're in the house, but it's you going outside and really taking deep breaths. Now, when you take a deep breath, this is how you would breathe for you to get proper benefit from it. As you breathe in, your stomach should push out. So as you breathe out, your stomach should go back in. So as you breathe in, your stomach should push out. This is the action that helps for your diaphragm to expand, and so that your lungs may have enough capacity to take in more air. And you need to hold your breath, count to 10, and then release it. So in a day, for this process to really be effective for you, you kind of need to do 10 deep breaths, at least in a day. The best time, if you wake up in the morning, that would be best. If you would do that in the morning, first thing, because the air is stiff and fresh, you do your 10 breaths. And then even in the evening, when the air becomes stiff again for nighttime, you do your deep breaths then. It calms the nerves a lot, especially when there's anxiety, there's depression, there's a bit of panic and all sorts of mental activity going on. It would be good to do that. Herbs and teas that you can actually take. Now, there is hibiscus. Hibiscus is called sorrel. It's called sorrel for those who are from the Caribbean, because I know my friends are always telling me it's sorrel. I shouldn't call it hibiscus. So hibiscus, you can take that tea. It's also very good for relaxing you. I take that tea very regularly and I like it. It works for me. Aloe blossom tea is another one, which works very well. Now, this one it's got different herbs that are put in to make an infusion of herbs. So it's a very powerful one, actually. I take that too, so that works. Passion flower is really, truly powerful, so powerful that you have to make sure that you measure it correctly. If you're using a herb, so you can get a tea bag, that would be good because that's already measured. So if you're doing a tea bag, you do that to a cup. If you're going to use the herb that's in a bag, you need only a teaspoon to a cup of water. Any more than that with passion flower, that would knock you out straight. Not knock you out in the sense of dying, but that it's really so powerful. You can just light out and then you'll find yourself awake in about a day or two. So you want to make sure you measure. Yeah, you want to make sure you measure properly. It's quite good. Valerian root is another one. Not with valerian, when you take it, you can literally feel your nerves are doing something. You know, the relaxing process is actually taking place. It's very good. It's used specifically for sleep as well, and to relax you, especially when your mind is just too busy. You can also mix passion flower, catnip, chamomile, and hops. That would make like a good tea. So try to make sure that whatever mix you make of that, it all comes to a teaspoon in a cup of water, no more than that. And then, of course, you can take peppermint tea, which is really good. But don't depend on the teas. These are not good things to depend on. Use them only as you need them, but for a short time, and then stop. So when you become dependent on these, you will have trouble, because then trying to get back to normal order without them is going to be very, very difficult. So try not to depend on these. Hydrotherapy now. Hydrotherapy is especially powerful. There are so many ways that you can use water to help yourself to sleep, but I'm only mentioning just a few because of our time. Yeah. We don't want to go too over, but please let us know what information you need. We are happy to supply it. So hot bath, I did speak of it before. It will be excellent if you just mix that together with your exercise. Do your exercise, sweat away. Go in the hot bath, sweat again. But make sure while you're doing all this sweating, drink water so that you do not lose too much water. And when you are in the hot bath, try to do 20 minutes and not to go too much over. Sometimes if you overstay in a hot bath, it's not good for you as well. You lose too many electrolytes. So try to be drinking lots of water and stay there for about just roughly 20 minutes. That should be enough. And when you're done, then you can go and lie down and you'll find that you should be all right. Usually you would sweat a lot even when you're lying down, you'd find the sweat coming. But after that, you'd feel you are completely relaxed. Or another way is to make sure you're well hydrated during the day. Please remember to drink your water. Water drinking has been known to cause so many diseases. You would actually be shocked if you knew how many diseases are caused by, by dehydration, just not hydrating properly. Make sure that you are continuously throughout the day drinking enough water for you. Now, let's have a little chat about the wet sheet pack. Some call it wet sheet wrap or wet sheet pack. Can you see the gentleman there at the bottom there? He looks like he's ready for burial, doesn't he? But no, he's just ready for his sleep. That's a man who's been wrapped up in a wet sheet wrap right there. So what you would do if you want to go through this process, you would need someone to help you, because by the time you're done, you look like you're mummified, And so it's difficult to do that to yourself. So you need somebody to really do that to you. But what you do generally is you take a large plastic, you put it on your bed so that there's no water or wetness or any kind of wet. You won't have any water dripping really, but you don't want any kind of wetness going on the mattress or anything. So you put a large plastic, you put 4 blankets, one on top of the other, or you might even put 5 because it's very cold right now. If you're going to do this kind of thing, you need to proper stay warm. So you might put 4 blankets, and then on top of those 4 blankets, you put a sheet, a bed sheet that's been dipped in cold water, and you wring out all the water. So don't leave any water dripping, just wring it out completely, but it's cold water. It should be cold water. Put it down there. You take off all of your clothes. Don't leave anything on. Lie down on it, and then have somebody wrap you quite nicely. So there's a particular way of wrapping so that every part of your body is in contact. Every part of your skin is in contact with that wet sheet. So you wrap up with the sheet, wrap up with the blanket, then the next blanket, then the next blanket, until all 4 blankets are wrapped up. So if you find you're not getting warm enough, you put hot water bottle, and another hot water bottle by your feet there to just have you warm up. So what that would do, it would reduce it will remove inflammation from the body. Your body is forced to warm up this wet sheet because it's not happy with the wet sheet that's close to it. So it will warm it up. So the heat will come out of you onto this wet sheet. It will pull out heat. So when it's putting out heat, it's putting out toxic waste as well. And you will sweat and sweat. And if you've got any issues, you will sweat them out onto this wet sheet. When that process is done, you will be as calm as anything. I mean, anyone can say anything to you and you would not even rise up. That's how calm you would be. So it calms all your nerves. It's used usually for people with irritable nerves and with people whose minds just don't keep still, that kind of a thing, and people who can't sleep. Within an hour of being wrapped up like this, you'll be fast asleep, snoozing and snoring. So when you wake up, you just go have a bath yourself completely and change, and you're ready to go through with your day. So that's something that can be done for you. There are many things on YouTube that to show you how that is supposed to be done, but it's a very good treatment. You really should try it at some point. Now, trust in God. Try not to solve problems during sleep time. Sleep time is sleep time. It's not time for solving any kind of problems. So I was chatting with Mrs. Van and we were just talking during earlier, and we were discussing this way of doing things whereby during the day, try and solve whatever issues need to be solved during the day before you get to nighttime. So if you need to write your things down so that there's some order and organization to it, write it all down, know what it is that is an issue, prioritize it. What do you think is the biggest issue that is going here and the least issue that is going here, that is going on here in your life? And then also there's a technique whereby you need to stand back from these issues. Look at them as though they're somebody else's issues. And then say to yourself, like, if Mrs. Wanda is the one who had that kind of a thing, how would I advise her to deal with that? So the more you look at issues and you say, these are my issues, I'm going through this, I'm going through this. One, self-pity is the biggest thing going on there. And when you pity yourself, you cannot get out of that hole because you're constantly feeling sorry for yourself. But if you stand back and you look at this problem as though it's somebody else's problem, and you try to see, okay, now out of all these issues, and if this person was carrying on like I'm carrying on with all these issues, is this really important? Really, when you look at it, it has to come down to that way you're thinking a bit on the rational side to say, is this really needful for me to carry on about this? And then as you're looking on your list, you have to ask yourself, this thing that I'm carrying on about, is it within my capacity to deal with it? The things that are not within your capacity to deal with, they are within God's jurisdiction. And those, if you try to take them on your shoulders are not big enough to solve that. So whatever is within God's jurisdiction, take it and put it in God's jurisdiction. And you work with what is in your capacity that God has given you to work with. So that will also help, and do that process through the day so that it does not come to nighttime where you now sit down. And don't skip over anything. If anything is an issue, look at it during the day. Don't skip over it, because if you skip over it, at night it's going to catch up. When you can't get sleep, that's the thing that will be revolving around everywhere. And the Bible says, you know, when there's a multitude of counselors, you will have a bit of safety there. So if you need to speak to someone, by all means, who you can trust, speak to someone, pray with someone, you know, read scripture with someone. Don't just be quiet about your issues, but work with someone if you need to, just so that these things can be sorted and organized in their compartments. Like we're saying, whatever is God's issue is his. Don't take it and make it yours. Even if it's somehow your issue, yeah, it's happening to you, but if you have no power over it, then you need to ask the Lord to take that over. And pray for sleep. Why not? Proverbs 127 verse 2 says, he gives his beloved sleep. God gives sleep. If you need it, have a chat with him as well. That's another way. Pray. And when you're praying, don't pray, please, the kind of prayers where there's, you know, agitated prayers. Lord, I must have, give me. And then by the time you're done, you're still in this kind of, you know, situation. But they're relaxed prayers where you give it to him so that he can organize and sort things. Prayers of trust, simple trust and rest in him. Now you can read promises, you can memorize scripture, all these things you can do within your trust in God section. Detox, cleanse, and rebuild. Now, before I touch this bit, Mrs. Vanda talked about the screen time, and she was talking about the blue light. Yeah, that needs to be avoided. I'm sure she pretty much just mentioned it. I didn't even need to go there. That needs to be avoided. I know sometimes even our Bible is on the screen and we're like, oh, I'm just reading the Bible before I go to bed, or whatever the case may be. And also phone calls. Make it a point that you know what is the cut-off point for you to receive phone calls. Because there are some phone calls which if you receive them at the wrong time, you're not going to sleep anymore. That's it, because the news is so terrible or so bad or so something that you cannot sleep. So have that time where you have a cut-off point with your phone, that you're no longer going on social media. You're not even going to read anything off your phone. You are done, and leave the phone aside and make sure you get some sleep. One of the biggest ways that we talk about in natural remedies towards trying to get the body to do as you would want it to do, especially now when you're failing completely to sleep, is to detox. You need to detox that body. You need to cast off toxic waste, because every time you're fading to sleep, every time you're having issues in the body, there's toxic waste that is building up and building up and building up. And these things just need to be cast off. There are excess hormones that need to be dealt with. So detoxing is a very good thing to do. That is actually one of the first things to do. So detox that body, cleanse it, and then rebuild it. Start giving it good nutrition so that it can build itself back up again to do as you would want it to do. So I've put a few things here. There's a program called the DX4, which is a body balancing program. And there's a C9, which is a 9-day program. And there's F15, which is a 15-day program. These programs you can do. It's not a must that you must do them, but you can do them within possibility. Some people find that their lives are just so busy, they don't have time to deal with anything else. But this is one of the best ways that they can do, because these programs slide into busy lifestyles. So you can be able to do that easily. Plus there's help, there's support if you need it for all the days that you can do whatever program. Some people just do the 4 days, some people just the 9 days, some people 15 days, but some people do all the days. So they turn up to 28 days all in all. But nevertheless, whatever you're going to use, you need to make sure that your body is detoxed. Now, there's some natural ways that you can, other ways, well, it's natural this way, but there are other ways that you can use as well to detox your body. Some people do water fasting. They water fast. Some do it for a day, some 2 days, some do it for 10 days. They're water fasting. Some go on a juice fast. They just do juices. Some would prefer to do vegetable. They just do vegetable juices. Some do just fruit juices for a time, either 2 days, 3 days, whatever days they are able to manage it. Some do vegetable and fruit juice all at the same time. Still other people don't do juices, but they detox through just using the food. So they would eat the fruit and eat just vegetables, fruits and vegetables only, nothing else for however many days that they want to do it. So there are many ways. Some people use lemon to do a lemon cleanse, and that's another way of detoxing. You can do a liver flush. You can do a kidney flush. There are many ways to detox. You can do salt glows and you're detoxing just with your skin. So let us know if you need any of these ways. Whatever suits you is what we will work with. You can work with the programs, and then someone can help you through with the programs, or you can decide to do it another way, a different way, but whichever way that you feel you need, let us know, and then we can give you all the help that you need. Yeah. So that is our last slide. I think I would just give a minute to Mrs. Manda. I'm just going to dash upstairs for a second. If you've got anything that you feel there's need to add, please just add it while I'm just dashing up. I'll be back in a tick.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we give this time to some questions, some comments, which is what we always want to make sure we utilize the Women's Corner. Comments, questions will be really be helpful, because it's no good us talking without people understanding what has been said. So this is the time to ask questions, say comments, So feel free before we finish the program. We are still within time, so we've got some time to digest and just time to have questions. Yes. Who's gonna go first? I mean, I can stop recording so that people don't feel they have to be